Nova Scotia's EMO asked to use the hall as a registration center for residents of Portapitt who had fled their homes.
For residents of Portapitt who had fled their homes.
An RCMP officer was posted here in a cruiser. By this time, police were on the hunt for the shooter, who they knew was impersonating a police officer. At 10:30 a.m., 2 RCMP officers fired multiple shots outside the hall. Sources have told CTV News the officers thought they were firing at the suspect, when it was in fact a fellow Mountie.
This program is brought to you in part by...
Why don't you get yourself some turned-down collars, Poirot? They're much more the thing, you know.
The thing, Hastings? Do you think Poirot concerns himself with mere thingness?
No. No, I see that.
The turned-down collar is the first symptom of decay of the grey cells.
You know, I just think if people keep pushing, I can't, first of all, thank enough all of the hard work. There's 3 fellow YouTubers who are working very, very hard with me on this one. Rage in the Cage, Steve LTT, and Just My Stupid Opinion. Just plugging them, sorry. But they are fantastic guys, really been busting their humps here. And, you know, stepping up to the plate, because there's a certain amount of risk saying certain things. And also, likewise, all of the people who are volunteering information and time, which, like I said, over on the Discord or sending me anonymously information, it is fantastic.
Okay, do I have audio? I don't know. I'm screwing around with a bunch of things here, and tech is not a good thing, and I aren't friends. Morning, Steve. Thanks for joining. Awesome. Patricia, Michael, you guys all know Steve. If you guys haven't subscribed, check out his channel, please. Working really, really hard here. Craig, Point Fire, Glenn B. Awesome. Cheryl. Good stuff. All right. Now, I did want to clean up a couple of things because, well, I think we have a few minutes. They're going to do their news and stuff like that. Excuse me, or your guys' news, depending on where you are. So I've spoken about Amazing Polly. I had a conversation with her this morning. Morning, Jill. I had a conversation with her this morning. Great conversation. Please go and subscribe to her BitChute channel. I'll drop her down here. She got purged from, she was one of the big people to get purged from YouTube. So, and Polly's always been a good friend. So, please go, check out her channel. Geez, I sound like Trudeau. Here also is her webpage. So I'd encourage you to go and join or check that out too, or put it in your bookmarks. You never know. I don't know. My channel got deleted over on BitChute. I wasn't too happy about that. Here it is here. Oh, page not found. I don't know. There was a little bit more spicy things on there that, well, it just wasn't available on YouTube. Anyway, but it was other stuff. So let's try and how's everybody doing this morning? Fitch may be the hot topic. There is a lot of news on this front. Trust me, I haven't taken my time off. I've been actually really overwhelmed with the amount of stuff. I may have an angle, but I have to do a lot of validating. But there's been a lot of news. Of course, we've had the appointment of, that's my reaction to that, the appointment of the third person. Thanks, Bill. How convenient you had that in the back pocket, too, to fire out. Timing. Everything is about timing in this story. So we've got Bill pulling that out. We had the helicopter story. We had the purchase of the property over in Portapique under the radar by the government. Lots and lots of things going on here. So please spread the word with your friends. Keep the momentum up because it's really firing up, people. Yes, Fitch, other member. Yes, I'm dirty. Anyway. Everybody doing well today? I haven't spoken to Paul in a few days, and well, in a bit actually, but he did email, so we'll make sure that we get him on here. Shut your hole, Seamus. Well, it's news. It's news time. You guys want to hear Nova Scotia news? Well, lobster. Timing. Lobster. Anyways, good news bear, Michael Stewart. Truth in all. Okay, Mr. Michael Penny. Well, you and I should have a conversation, sir. We'll switch over here, I think, to this is how I want to do this, right? And then I want to turn on this audio, I believe. And then I want to mute myself. Please let me know if the audio is poor or not working.
You know they grip well.
Oh my, ads.
That they get around well. And keep you safe.
I guess that can't be the RCMP they're talking about.
Advanced winter traction so that you can have fun this winter. Nitto Tires, are you ready for the adventure?
Although things may change around you, Parkland Retirement Living's commitment to safety and service excellence remains unchanged. Here's one happy resident.
It's just absolutely incredible, and I'd really love it if I could nominate them for mass awards.
With suites available and limited time move-in incentives, now is the perfect time to consider a move to Parkland. Learn more about how you can move in safely at experienceparkland.com. Parkland is always here for you. Always Parkland.
Number one for breaking news, traffic, and weather. This is News 95.7 Halifax.
It's Monday, October 26th. Good afternoon. I'm Sky Bryden-Blom. In downtown Halifax, it is sunny and 7 degrees. The News 95.7 top story. Well, the Trudeau government is urging members of Parliament to reject a Conservative motion that demands the release of records related to the government's handling of the COVID-19 pandemic. Procurement Minister Anita Anand says the sensitivity of some of this information can't be underestimated.
There are confidentiality clauses. There are proprietary information clauses. There is information relating to the models and the makes of particular devices, for example. That's proprietary information that companies believe will be protected when they do business with a governmental entity like the Government of Canada.
Anand says the reason Canada has been so successful in its procurements is because suppliers believe their commercially sensitive information will be protected when they sign contracts with the Government of Canada. Coming up, the president and CEO of the Halifax Chamber of Commerce calling on government to reassure people it's safe to shop local. News 95.7 time, 12:01. Time for Carson X Sports, traffic and weather together on the ones. Now with Halifax's most frequent traffic reports, here's Alistair Alders.
A collision has been reported at the intersection of Main Street and the Forest Hills Parkway. Emergency crews are responding, so please use caution in the area. I'm not hearing of any delays, though, at this point. Heading out on Bears Road between Romans and Connaught, we have construction, although it doesn't look like it's too backed up right now, but at times it is backing up inbound traffic onto the 102. The McKay and McDonald bridges are both in pretty good shape, and you won't find any problems if you're heading out on the Bedford Highway. If you see any problems or have any updates, tweet us at News 95.7. It's time for your flu shot. To get yours, visit your nearest Shoppers Drug Mart. Protect yourself. Getting vaccinated is your best defense against the flu, subject to availability. And now with your latest forecast, here's weather specialist John Wilson.
Increasing cloud through the day today after a sunny start and frosty start for some of you inland. 9 degrees, the guaranteed high, and then showers tonight, a quick spike up to 14 with a warm front, but a cold front's right on its heels, and by tomorrow morning we'll be falling from that 14 with a few more showers tomorrow, and then sunny and 5 on Wednesday. Thursday, partly sunny, risk of a shower 9, partly sunny 5 Friday. Saturday, Halloween looks like it's going to be clear and about 2 degrees at trick-or-treat time right now. Today's guaranteed high is 9.
And right now in downtown Halifax, 7 degrees. At the airport, it is 5. News 95.7 time, 12:04. The chief of Nova Scotia Sabang First Nation says he has doubts about Ottawa's decision to appoint a special representative to mediate talks between Indigenous and non-Indigenous fishers. Mike Sachs says he's worried that Alistair Surratt, a university president and former politician from the area, lacks experience with Indigenous issues. Sachs also says he doesn't consider Surratt's new role important to what his First Nation is trying to accomplish through ongoing nation-to-nation talks with the federal government. Surratt is tasked with making recommendations aimed at decreasing tensions and preventing further escalation of the conflict along Nova Scotia's Acadian shore. The president and CEO of the Halifax Chamber of Commerce says government needs to reassure people it's safe to go out and to shop and eat at local restaurants in order to help keep the economy alive. Patrick Sullivan tells News 95.7, numbers-wise, it's safe to go outside as long as we're sensible.
And we should be cautious, and there are things we should continue to do, like mask wearing, and we should absolutely be cautious. But we're in a special place in Nova Scotia, and I would love to hear people talk more about that to support those local businesses that really need the help.
Sullivan says urban markets in this province are getting hammered as province-wide unemployment this September is up 6% from this time last year. However, in HRM, he says unemployment compared to last year is up 44%. News 95.7 time, 12:06 right now in downtown Halifax, sunny skies, 7 degrees. I'm Sky Bryden-Blom. For more news, follow us on Twitter or at news957.com.
You're listening to The Rick Howe Show, where Halifax comes to talk. News 95.7. Now, here's Rick.
Good Monday afternoon. Hope your day is going well so far today. Hi, and welcome to the noon hour. I'm Rick Howe. It's coming up to 12:07. A little later this half hour, historian and author Blair Bede returns with another Halifax history moment for us. And Blair will join me in about 10 or so minutes. But first up this noon hour, he's called the RCMP response to the gunman's mid-April murder spree that took the lives of 22 Nova Scotians an epic failure. Will the upcoming public inquiry get to the bottom of what really happened that weekend? Journalist Paul Palango joins me on the phone here this afternoon. Paul, good afternoon to you.
Hey, Rick, it's good to be back.
I'm glad you could join us here today. I guess first thing we have to acknowledge is that you were somewhat off with your claims that Mr. Wortman was an RCMP informant. Do you acknowledge that maybe that was a mistake?
Where do you get the evidence that he wasn't an informant?
Well,
I don't see any evidence that's been proffered for that. I have never said he is an informant. I said there are suggestions that he may well be an informant. And there was a story, the RCMP put out information saying that, the money he took from Brinks on March 30th, 2020 was his own money and proves he's not an informant. That doesn't prove a thing.
Well, he took out that money apparently because he was paranoid about COVID and wanted all of his belongings with him.
But that's the police version of what's happening. And I think what you have to understand is you're looking at this story. The police have spoon-fed things out, and the Crown have spoon-fed things out to create this impression that Wortman was a monster, and that's the story. Yes, he was a monster. And that's part of the story, but that's not the whole story by any stretch of the imagination. And I said, I still have, after that story came out, I have sources calling me saying, you're right. There's still something there. There's stuff going on. And I assure you that I am not backing down on that because I continue to work on developing those leads.
So will this public inquiry then get to the bottom of this? Do you have confidence, Paul, that will get the whole story out of this inquiry?
Oh, I have absolutely no confidence that the inquiry is set up is there to find out what happened. I think that I have serious concerns about this inquiry because you have two people on the inquiry, Mr. Justice Michael McDonald and Leanne Fitch, the former Fredericton police chief, who were agreed to sit on a review prior to this where there was going to be no evidence given and they were just going to review what the police did and dot the I's and cross the T's, slap a few wrists and go on. So they accepted this role. And then when it was found untenable, they became, they accepted a role on an inquiry. Well, I have problems with McDonald in the past. I've talked to you about how there's the curious rulings he made to let the former Premier Gerald Reagan go free in his cases. Leanne Fitch should recuse herself. She should not be there. She's the former police chief of Fredericton, but they keep glossing over the fact that she, in 2019, last year, she was appointed as the vice chair of the RCMP Management Advisory Board for the federal government. There's a picture of her early in the year, this year, with Assistant Commissioner Lee Bergerman from Nova Scotia working for the RCMP. She's not an objective person in this.
But the terms of reference to the three commissioners requires them to inquire and make findings on the causes, context, and circumstances giving rise to the tragedy, the police response, and the steps taken to inform, support, and engage with victims, families, and affected citizens. Is that not sufficient, you think, to give us the true story of what happened?
No, because I think the narrative from the beginning has been that this is a domestic violence case gone bad, where this bad man went out and killed a bunch of people, and then the government is determined to pound this square peg into a round hole. That domestic violence is the only issue here. That is not the issue. The third person they appointed, Kim Stanton, that's her background. She works on gender. She had the status of Women's Advisory Council on strategies against gender-based violence. This is all gender-based violence that they're trying to impose on this and mask what the real issues are.
Is that a red herring, you think?
I think it's largely a red herring. I think that the government is planning to use this to basically control evidence, create the image of, just wear people down with this story of Wortman being a monster, and he is a monster. I don't take that away, but cover up what really happened. I mean, there are only one real witness to this, and that was Wortman's girlfriend. And the media and the government refused to basically interview her or find her, talk to her, write her story, name her. None of that stuff. She controls the story right now, and the government is basically making sure she's protected. I have seen public inquiries in the past, how they work in a situation like this, and what they do is they don't call someone like her to the stand saying, oh, it's too difficult for her, it's going to cause a problem for her, it's emotionally stressful. She was there. The public needs to know what she saw, what she did.
Clearly she should be and must be a witness at this inquiry. But these commissioners are also look at police actions, including operational tactics, response, decision-making, and supervision, along with communications with the public during and after the event. I'm not sure how much more specific we can be in regards to that particular aspect, which Rick, you have said is an epic police failure. So, and again,
well, Rick, I've been up in Portapique twice in the last couple of weeks. I'm continuing the investigation. There's stuff going on. The fact of the matter is the RCMP has misled people from the beginning about what happened there. How many policemen do you think were there in the first 2 hours? How many do you think were there in the first 2 hours at Portapique?
I have no idea.
Well, the public's been out there saying, the police have been out there saying, at one point, Chief Superintendent Leather said, we had 30 resources there with no timeline. The fact of the matter is, there were 6 or fewer officers there for the first 2 hours. There were 9 crime scenes. They did not lock down the site. They didn't do anything. That has been fudged. And what has happened, this inquiry should be looking at, is what the RCMP didn't do. It was an epic failure. But the problem we have, Rick, is that, misinformation is being spread out by the government and the police, like attacking me. Fine, they can attack me all they want. I'm not going away. But what disturbs me is the media itself is not covering the story. They've given up. In Halifax, they're not writing anything. I was writing for the Examiner, and they sort of dropped me like, oh, well, we don't want to know what Paul has to say. They had this curious line, we've proven that Wortman's not a confidential informant. There is no proof that he's not a confidential informant, just like there's more proof that he is than he isn't. But the headlines and the manipulation of the media and the manipulation of the story is appalling. I wish I could volunteer my services to the Chronicle or Herald and help them out. They're just foundering there. Their own employees are calling me saying, what's going on? There's no stories yet. They should be pursuing this. The families are saying this to me.
Well, I do know that the Global is putting together a special whole effort on this. And as well, it's my understanding that Fifth Estate and perhaps even W5 have been checking further into this at all. So there could be more to come here yet from the media.
Oh, there's going to be, Rick, I assure you there's going to be more to come. There's lots going on. When I was in Portapic the other day, the Global truck was there and had a drone up and they were filming. I just got off the phone with the Fifth Estate producer who's doing the show. I have an idea of what's going on virtually everywhere in this story. And if the government thinks that they're going to have an inquiry where they can cover things up and not call witnesses and sort of slide things by, it ain't going to happen. I mean, there's other international things going on with documentaries coming up. Maybe I'll write a book and explain the story. But, I find it really, I think we did some good work on this, Rick, in the early days. And I really am appalled and upset that you would think that one announcement where his money apparently came from and misread that and say, there's proof that he's not a confidential informant. Well, that's wrongheaded. We should be spending more time talking about it.
I asked that in order to get your response.
Yeah, well, it sort of gets accepted in the media. And it's wrong. If you look, the government and the police are feeding this stuff to the media, and the media is reprinting it as if it's fact. I can go through the unredacted documents and find error after error, misstatement after misstatement in there, because you got to remember the unredacted documents are not the interviews. They're a summary of the interviews. We don't know what's been left out of them. We don't know what's in those interviews.
I tell you,
this part of it.
Paul, I only had 10 minutes here for you this afternoon, and clearly that's not enough time. So what I'm going to do is sometime either next week or the week after, we'll get you on for an hour, and we'll really get into this and hear some more about your claims, your what you've discovered. And maybe by then we'll hear some more from some of those media outlets that have been investigating what they've discovered. So I think this deserves a whole lot more than just the few minutes that we give you here this afternoon. So if you're okay with that, next week, probably Rick, on a Thursday, we will give you a call and line something up for the whole hour. How about that?
Okay, Rick. And by then I hope to have at least one, if not two pieces published in the National Post that'll provide more fodder.
Excellent. I'm looking forward to it. We'll give you a call early next week and set up a time then, Paul.
No problem, Rick. Thank you.
All right. Thank you. Thank you. Paul.
Letting up.
Okay, so
the Portapic massacre, as they're calling it here, the mid-April rampage that claimed the lives.
Oh, it's
22
probably
Nova
going to
Scotians. I think, again, Paul is doing what I think all journalists should be doing. He's
let's just listen to this.
It's all you can ask. We'll get into some more detail when we bring him back for a whole hour next week sometime. All right, 12:18 is our time.
Okay, so pretty interesting info. I like the question from the outset. Wow. He sandbagged him right from the beginning. Oh, you have to admit that you're wrong, don't you? What are you talking about? That seems like a little bit of gatekeeping. Anyways, this media. What are we going to do? I don't even know where to begin on the other stuff because we've had a lot. I've got seriously pages and pages of notes. Well, I do have a theory going. I uncovered some information that may lead us somewhere. May. Definitely there's stuff in there for sure that is 100% right on. But as to the other part, which is the fairly explosive part, I don't know. So hopefully we can, maybe we can see if we can arrange another chat with Paul. That would be good, I think. And with the crew, that would be good. And get all of some more info on what's going on. Hey, Kendall, what's happening? Anyway, I do hope everybody is doing well, especially those of you who are down on the East Coast and being subjected to, well, bad scenario all around. And I think maybe there's some convenience in the timing. Again. Paul was on for 10 minutes or whatever the hell, where are we at? I guess he was supposed to be on for 10, kept him there for 20. And he just kind of said, listen, this is a whole bunch of hooey we've got going on here. The appointment of he didn't really get into that too much, but of course, this person that they appointed, the third person, has quite a history. A little bit of scrubbing I noticed that they've been doing. If you predate the search April 19, you can find some interesting things. So it's very feminist, very, very feminist. I have to wonder, do you think he may have friends with Linda McDonald? Just saying. We know that the public inquiry is going to be garbage, sadly. I know that a lot of people want to hold on to that one. It's not going to be. It's a boondoggle. It's a gigantic waste of money. 2 years. I can share that probably. The business to do with the fire hall, Onslow, that's not ever going to come out until the inquiry, supposedly. They say it's an ongoing investigation. Interesting how you can't release an ongoing investigation. How are they going to do that in a public inquiry? One has to wonder. Anyway, Mark, I won't keep you all. Please do. I've noticed some funny things too with the videos. I've got a few complaints about the Leon video disappearing and then reappearing, disappearing, reappearing. So please feel free to download that. Anybody, I know I've been asked a couple of times. Please feel free to download that and spread it around, because that's his words, and his words are important, given the fact that we have very few eyewitnesses who've come forward and that have been given fair play. Leon was not given fair play. He had details that he shared with the media. The media chose, this is very important, chose not to share those details with the public. They are framing her up as something else. They are framing the entire thing as something else. Timing, very important. So I do hope everybody has a good day. My prayers are with everybody down there, and all of you, of course. Thank you very much, Tara, for joining us. I appreciate that. And Steve and all of you, Michael, Truth, Cheryl, Amelia, geez, Lorraine. This is great. Kendall, Michael. You guys have been such a gigantic help. I really appreciate it. Please, again, if you do have a chance, check out Amazing Polly. She is amazing. Amazing is is probably pretty good. She and I have done some research in the past, and she's a good friend. And funnily enough, we were talking about this stuff this morning. So I'll leave her web address again. Also go over and subscribe to Steve and Steve LTT, and also here's her BitChute channel because she got thrown off. Look at how many subscribers she has. I know that does not seem like a lot, but for BitChute, that's a pile. She really got tons of them post the kicking of her off of YouTube, and she was close to 200,000 subscribers on YouTube. So a fairly substantial voice. I mean, she's mentioned in the media quite often. So please do have a great day. God bless you all.